Get ready, because today we're diving deep into one of the internet's most chilling and persistent mysteries. What if I told you that a man once appeared online, claiming to be from the year 2036, and some of his predictions actually came true? Now imagine this. It's the early 2000s. The internet is still a wild, untamed frontier, and suddenly, a mysterious user named John Titor pops up on online forums. He says he's a soldier, sent back in time on a critical mission. His goal? To retrieve an ancient IBM computer that, he claims, will literally save the future. At first, people just laughed it off. A time traveler, on a forum. Come on. But then, something shifted. His words, which sounded like pure science fiction, started to eerily match reality. And that's when the laughter stopped. Titor's first message appeared on November 2nd, 2000, in a simple thread about time travel. He wasn't like your typical internet troll. His tone was incredibly calm, incredibly technical, almost military in its precision. He described his time machine in stunning, intricate detail, a C-204 gravity distortion unit. He called it, supposedly made by General Electric, and get this, mounted inside a 1967 Chevrolet Corvette. He claimed it could bend time using something called micro-singularities, tiny black holes that allowed him to jump between years. He flat out told everyone he was from 2036, a world just beginning to recover from a devastating global nuclear war. His mission, he explained, was to travel back to 1975 and grab an IBM 5100 computer. Why that specific model? Because, he said, it was a rare machine capable of reading old programming languages that future computers couldn't. Most people online, naturally, dismissed him as a prankster. But then came the bombshell. IBM engineers themselves confirmed that the 5100 DON did have a hidden function. A secret only a few insiders knew at the time. How in the world could he have known that, unless he was actually telling the truth? The implications were mind-blowing. Then, Titor started to issue his warnings. He wrote that by 2004, America would face significant civil unrest. And by 2015, a global nuclear exchange would kill nearly 3 billion people. He described a fractured world, small, isolated communities, broken governments, and technology slowly being rebuilt from the ashes. He said humanity survived, but it was profoundly changed. Initially, the internet shrugged it off as just another sci-fi fan getting a little too invested in their roleplay. But soon, strange coincidences began to pile up. He predicted rising tensions between Russia and the United States, growing fears of global pandemics, and a world where truth itself would completely fracture under the weight of digital chaos and misinformation. Sound familiar to anyone? I mean, seriously, think about what we've all been through. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Skeptics, and there were many, kept asking him, if you're really from the future, why are you telling us any of this? Why warn us? Titor's reply was always calm, almost matter of fact. My presence here creates a new timeline. Your world is not my world. He explained the many worlds theory, the idea that every action, every decision, splits reality into new branches. In his future, he claimed, the year 2001 marked the beginning of America's decline. He said he couldn't stop it because to him, it had already happened. He didn't just talk the talk either. He posted diagrams of his time machine, photos of its components, and even military insignia from his unit in 2036. Experts examined them. Some immediately dismissed them as elaborate fiction, while others found the science surprisingly plausible, even shockingly accurate in its detail. The debate raged, but Titor remained steadfast. He knew what he knew, and he was sharing it. Then, Just as suddenly as he appeared, John Titor vanished. His very last message, dated March 24th, 2001, simply read, "Bring a flashlight and a gun when the time comes." After that, nothing, no more posts, no trace. He simply blinked out of existence from the forums, leaving a stunned community behind. Years passed. Researchers and internet sleuths tried desperately to uncover his true identity. Some claimed he was just a group of clever hoaxers working together. Others speculated he was part of a secret government experiment, a psychological operation designed to test how people would react to future fear. But the timing of his disappearance was incredibly strange. Just a few months later, 9/11 happened. The world truly changed overnight, and suddenly, Titor's vague warnings about America under attack felt far, far too real to be just a coincidence. Over the next decade, even more of Titor's chilling predictions seemed to surface or take on new meaning. A deeply divided America, unprecedented global surveillance, a global pandemic that isolates the world for years. Are these just coincidences? Or is it proof that the past and future are threads that we keep tangling with, perhaps in ways we don't understand? Communities of believers formed. They called themselves Titorists. It became an online cult of sorts, studying his every word, analyzing every phrase. Some even claimed they'd found others like him. People who remembered different timelines. People with memories that simply didn't belong to this world. And then, a truly bizarre story emerged. In 2011, a physicist who was studying temporal fields claimed to have discovered energy distortions consistent with miniature singularities. Exactly what Titor described. He cited Titor's schematics as uncannily accurate. 6 months later, this physicist died in a mysterious car crash, and all his files vanished. Coincidence? Or something far more sinister? Today, the John Titor mystery lives on, strong as ever. Every few years, new users pop up online, claiming to be him, or to have similar knowledge. Each one seems to possess eerily similar information, and each one vanishes before anyone can verify their claims. Some researchers still argue that Titor was part of a classified DARPA experiment. Others whisper that he was an early form of AI, an artificial intelligence that existed before AI was truly understood. An early government chatbot built to simulate future scenarios and test human reactions online. But there's one detail everyone, believers and skeptics alike, agrees on. He knew things he shouldn't have known, and his posts, even all these years later, feel less like fiction and more like a desperate, urgent message. Sound, ticking clock slowing, fading into soft static. Maybe John Titor was a brilliant hoax. Maybe he was truly real. Or maybe, just maybe, in another timeline, in another reality, he's still out there, driving that old Chevy through the folds of time, watching us repeat the very same mistakes he came all this way to warn us about. Because if his story was true, then this world, our world, was never actually supposed to exist at all. And somewhere, in the static of time, he's still listening. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey into the unknown.